Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sam's podcast. I'm Sam.
I'm Shades.
And I am Coolio Vids.
And today we're going to be talking about Captain America, the Winter Soldier. It's going to be a spoiler-filled podcast, so just putting that out there right from the gate. Do not listen to this if you have not seen the film, and if you have not seen the film yet, are you living under a rock? Go see the movie. It's pretty good. Um, yes, hello, welcome, everyone. I've just woken up, so I'm a bit woo.
Should we have given you a minute?
No, it's fine.
So just to
It's
give
okay.
everybody a sense of the times that we're recording this, what time is it for you, Sam?
It's 9 in the morning.
And Anthony?
It
Coolio?
is 3 in the morning.
Ooh.
It's 6 in the evening for me, so
All
ah,
right.
So
nice
if
relaxing day.
if you're listening to this, we're in the land of no time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
The,
time.
the much
It's
less
wonderful here.
successful dinosaur series.
It did get 20 sequels.
uh, well, I don't really have anything written down, so I guess we can just wing it. Um, yeah,
Yeah, wing it like Falcon.
yeah. On your
We're off to a
left.
good start.
I thought you said you were a pilot.
Pilot.
I
That's
never
what Sam
said I
Jackson
was a
says in
pilot.
Attack of the Clones.
Anyway, so yeah, we all enjoy this film.
Mm, uh,
Yeah.
okay.
The
What?
enthusiasm is amazing here.
Why don't
But
we
Uh,
why don't we start with what we thought of the film before we saw it, or
before we
what
saw it.
or what we that didn't quite make
anticipation
sense.
going in.
Yeah, yes, thank you.
All right, I'll start because I had a fun experience seeing this movie. I'll just talk about the time I had. I saw it, I guess the Thursday, technically the day before it came out, in a 3D double feature featuring the first Avenger and the Winter Soldier. This was a lot of fun because I got to watch First Avenger in 3D. That means I got to see Hugo Weaving say, "You are failing." His big red head on that screen. And when it happened, I cheered in the theater. Um, yeah, no one else did. Don't know why, but I did, and that's all that matters. So that was a good time. Then I saw the movie, which, if you guys remember the last video that we all did together, Winter Soldier was my most anticipated movie of this year. Thank God, because this movie is fantastic. I had so much fun with it. So I got to come out of this seeing the most anticipated movie and feeling great. Yeah, it's so wonderful. The best thing I can say about this film is that it's not just a good movie, a comic movie. It's a good movie. I screwed that up. I don't care. Go see it anyways. That's my experience.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Um, well, my experience, I was obviously very excited for this film. If anyone, I mean, if you've watched that video that Coolio just brought up of our reflection upon 2013, the year of comic book movies, and if you've seen my Shades Top 8 episode, I said that this was my second most anticipated film behind X-Men, and I went into this with a lot of anticipation, and I didn't really want to because I didn't want to be disappointed, and I didn't want it to not reach my expectations, but just I couldn't help it because the early reviews were all extremely positive, and I just loved the look of the film, and I thought, you know what, I think that Marvel might have a home run with this, and saw an advanced screening, advanced by a day, and the cinema was packed, and it was really funny because the session was meant to be for like it was something like 7 o'clock. So 7 o'clock comes and the movie's not playing, and I was like, God damn it! If this is another experience like we had with Avengers before Iron Man last year, gonna be very pissed. Because it was an advanced screening, so it is possible that there could have been a screw up. But uh, Like it was just weird that they weren't showing commercials. And then like 6 arrives, and they just start showing trailers. And they were showing the trailers for like Godzilla, X-Men, Spider-Man, and Guardians. So I was like, the movies that you people want to see, we'll show the trailers for. And then the movie started. The movie ended, and my immediate reaction was that this was not only the best movie that Marvel Studios have done, so the best movie of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think it might be the best superhero film, maybe since The Dark Knight. Um, that was just sort of my reaction, where I felt like there was no at that time there wasn't anything I could heavily criticize. There are a couple of things maybe here and there, but I was just like, that was as perfect a film as I could expect for Captain America after being woken up out of the ice and trying to find his place in the world. And I just thought it was a fantastic film. It not only did it reach my expectations, it blew them out of the water. So I loved the film.
Wow, it's high praise.
Mm.
Um, what did I do? Yeah, so it was I saw this on my birthday. My
Sweet.
on my 19th birthday, and on the one hand, it's funny because I booked the tickets for me and my girlfriend, and then it was a Friday, and we got there around 2:10, and I was saying let's get there really early because it'll be packed. We get in there, and there's like two people in the entire theater.
Oh wow.
So okay, we can sit wherever we want. Um, so that was interesting. And yeah, we had to go to a 3D screening, which bugged me because I'm so goddamn sick of 3D screenings. Um, and but I mean, yeah. So we sat down and we watched the film, and when it ended, I turned to her. I said, "What did you think?" She said, "I liked it quite a bit." I said, "You know what? I did too." And since then my feelings have got more and more positive because usually the film is ruined when you think twice about it. Then I went to go see it again before I did the review because I'd started writing a script. I was like, you know what, I need to watch this again.
Yeah.
So I went to see it again. Enjoyed it just as much the second time. The time flew by in the second screening. Um, when in the first screening it felt like a long film, the second screening it felt like a really short film. So that probably says something about how much I was enjoying it. Um, yeah, this is a great film. Um, yeah, good on them because if any people who are listening to this listen to our superhero movies 2013 podcast, I expressed quite a bit. I didn't sound that optimistic about this film because um, both Shades and Coolio were very excited, and I was just kind of because of 2013, it kind of just left me cold. Um,
Mm.
and I was just kind of going, I hope it's good, but I'm not even gonna try and get any expectations. And that wasn't very hard for me to do. It's not like I'm an avid Captain America fan. I like the character when he's written well and all that kind of stuff, but um, in most of his material in comics and animation and films. I think over the past few years, I've just been seeing his origin story done 1,000 times over and over again. Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the Ultimates film, um, all that kind of stuff, and obviously the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I hadn't really seen many other Captain America stories, and I was kind of fed up of seeing the same one over and over again. Um, but yeah, I thought they did exactly what they should have done here. They actually it most I'm sure some people who are listening to this will have watched my review, so I'll try not to repeat myself. But I mean, the problems with I had with Thor: The Dark World because we'd all talked about it before, and I sound kind of weird about it. It's really because I couldn't quite put my finger on what disappointed me about it. Um, and over time, I just thought I'd look back on that movie and I go, what on earth happened in that film? as in literally what happened because I can't remember. Um, and uh, and yeah, I think the disappointment came from like it just felt like it's another adventure. Take it or leave it. Come see the Avengers 2. Goodbye.
Yeah, it kind of feels a bit like marking time in
Yeah,
places.
very very enjoyable film. I did like it. It just felt like a pretty inconsequential adventure. Um, so yeah, and but anyway, so I went into Captain America, and I was pretty cautious, but I'm so glad it was good because man, it would have sucked if it was bad on my birthday. I would have been a downer. Um, but fortunately, it was great. It was so much fun. The action in this blows everything out of the water. I thought this even topped Iron Man 3, and I praised Iron Man 3 for its action.
Mm.
You know, Chris Evans actually got the inspiration for his fighting styles in this movie from the first movie video game. He said like in that game, Cap's flying around and like doing acrobatic stuff, and he says Cap should move like that, and so we did.
That's cool.
Make
So
Captain
that
America
game got
move
one.
like that.
Yeah, Steve's like, I like playing this game, and everyone else is like, that game is not very good, but it made a good movie apparently. So, all right,
So we should all be thanking that game.
we should all be thanking
Thank you,
Captain
game.
America.
What was interesting about it's cool how you brought up comparing it to Thor 2 because I think it's interesting looking at the films so far in the what are they called? Phase 2, where to me Thor 2 and Cap 2 really play off of their first films more than they play off of Avengers. They obviously bring up they reference Avengers without like jumping off of the events of that film, whereas Iron Man 3 did that more than Iron Man 2 and 1, I felt. Um, so yeah, I think it's interesting that when Anthony said he told us that he was going to see because we saw it before him because we're not from America, and
The movie is called Captain America. Shut your mouth.
it's so American. The film is so American that they made sure that they had a different list of things for every country.
Yes, that's very true. They changed it for everyone.
Yeah, patriotism. So yeah, when we had both seen the film, and Anthony told us that he was going to be seeing First Avenger and Winter Soldier as a double feature, and I was trying to say to him without saying it that that works a lot better than showing Avengers and then Captain America because the fact that this film, especially with all the Hydra stuff, plays off of uh, First Avenger so much, it really helps it feel more like a sequel. I mean, it feels like another
Yeah.
chapter for the character, but it definitely feels like if you've seen First Avenger, you will like this more than if you're going into this with only having seen Avengers, which I'm sure a lot of people are.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
pleasantly surprised by that reveal in the movie, and the second
Same.
it says, Hydra is still around, I sort of got more comfortable in my seat and went, oh, okay, here we go. Yeah, oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Because it did kind of, it was a sort of, why is, because as we said in the superhero 2013 video, this was going to be really different from the first one. Um, and it was difficult to know whether or not because they would have to naturally go for a different tone. Um, but the whole bringing Hydra in and sort of commenting on the relevance of Captain America as a character now actually plays so well next to the first film because it's such different worlds and such different times, but the character remains the same, and I think that's really good.
I agree. And
Yeah.
I was wondering how they were going to say why he wanted to join Shield.
Yep.
And they did it in one scene that worked because in the trailer when he was saying, this isn't freedom, this is fear, I joined Shield to protect people. I was like, so, but you're Captain America. Why do you stay around?
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to see how the film was going to explain that, and they did it in one beautiful scene with Peggy, and that scene really got me. That was an emotional scene. That one tugged on the heartstrings a bit. That was really good.
Yeah, that I'm so glad that they put that scene in there because after hearing about all the we even said this in the superhero 2013 podcast. We were saying, there's some terrific deleted scenes from the Avengers that made that
Yeah.
film better, quite literally, with more Captain America stuff. And they actually took those from those deleted scenes and reworked them, placed them in this. And I'm so glad we got a scene with Peggy. That one did tug at the heartstrings. The bit when I think when they're kind of talking to each other, and she's the only one that kind of gets him, even though she's really old, so she can't quite relate to his problem, but she comes from the
Mm,
same time, and it's like he's reconnecting with someone. Um,
yeah.
and it's great. It's fantastic dialogue. And then, of course, the second he goes to get her a drink, and it's revealed that she's instantly forgot him, and she's got short term memory or something like that. She's got some kind of disease. Um,
Looks like, yeah,
yeah,
Alzheimer's or
that's
something.
that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, it's very sad, and the bit when when she's going, Steve, Steve, you could hear this kind of, oh, that's really sad from the audience. Um,
Yeah.
and even the dialogue that Chris Evans had, that sounded like it came from the heart. Him saying I couldn't leave my best girl and all that kind of stuff.
Especially
Um,
when she owes me a dance. Yeah, I
yeah,
liked that.
yeah, it
He
just
picked her
really.
up and they danced. It was awkward. Completely ruined the scene.
Dude.
Yeah, there's it's cut short from when the scene opens with them dancing,
Yeah.
or him just
The
carrying her
great
basically.
great thing about that scene was the fact that her effects it's all CG.
Yeah.
Is it?
It is.
Is it the same
The
actress?
Russos. Yes, that is Haley Atwell. The Russos talked about this being that since the first film, it was such a big deal that they had actually Chris Evans on a scrawny, his head on a scrawny body.
Yeah.
They wanted to sort of replicate that formula by doing the same thing to Peggy, but making her older. So there's no prosthetics or anything. It
Wow,
is all CG.
that was flawlessly convincing because I didn't know that till you just said it. So
Incredible, right? I've seen this film 4 times, and I'm watching it. It looks real.
I thought it was a
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
actress.
She has a great old lady voice.
Yeah.
I, I could tell that it was still Haley Atwell, but I thought that she must have had like they do like when she's coughing, like you can see her neck and like they. I thought that she must have had all the prosthetics on her face and like it might have been like a fake kind of like what they do with Tony in the first Iron Man, where she's got a fake uh, where he's got a fake chest, so Pepper can reach down and pull out the thing. I thought that she might have like had her head sort of sitting there, and they might have had like a prosthetic throat and all that sort of thing. But I was trying to figure out how exactly they did it all, and it's amazing that it's all CG. It's really tremendous. And I thought Steve looked even better in these
In the
scenes. It's
Flash.
like scrawny Steve.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought that had improved a bit. And obviously, there's less of it in here than there was in First Avenger. And it doesn't bother me in First Avenger at all, but there are some parts where it was like, oh, that looks a little weird.
Yeah,
the
we.
Um,
scene where he meets Stanley Tucci for the first time, that's where it
yes,
looks the most awkward for me, where he's
Uh,
sitting there in the doctor's office.
yeah,
yeah,
there's that and the one where he's sitting with Haley Atwell in the car.
yeah, I
That's
thought
also
so too.
because in certain shots she's bigger than him, and then you look at and then there's a shot of the two of them, and they're the same height, and then there's a shot from his perspective, and she's a lot bigger than him. Didn't quite work, but
Yeah,
that's very that those are two scenes, and that's a good first 45 maybe and 45 minutes of the movie. For 2011, that's pretty darn good.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And it was nice to see the effects have got a little bit better. Um, yeah, Marvel have some balls. A bunch of studios talk about the idea of, CGI-ing characters and all that kind of stuff, and no one really has the balls to kind of do it. Um, Apart from Tron Legacy.
I was gonna
Um,
say this looked better than Clue. All
Oh
right,
God.
in Tron Legacy.
um,
Yeah.
Yeah, I always hate it when people praise Tron Legacy for young Jeff Bridges. I'll say no, he looks completely CG. I don't
yeah,
care what anyone says.
he looks like a PlayStation 2 character.
He
And
does,
and in the
and
serv and it kind of works in service of that movie a little more because they are technically inside a video game, but you're not going to be able to give that excuse to any other films.
yeah,
Yeah.
that excuse doesn't work because there's a bunch of other characters who are video game characters, and and it's actual actors.
Yeah,
Oh well, they're next gen. It doesn't, they're from the newest the console, so it's
they're
a
from the
different
real
story.
world console.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, right. But I
Uh,
I always look at Benjamin Button as like a good example of great older, younger like effects on actors, and yeah, so they've definitely replicated that here. And like we're talking about how great the action was and how great the effects were, I felt like it really it had the action and the humor of Avengers, but also managed to cross over into other genres of film.
Yeah,
And that's why I say I like it more than Avengers, because as much fun as Avengers is, it is very the story is incredibly basic, and that's all it needed to be for the first film where they come together. And in the grand scheme of Marvel, like it's gonna I'm sure it'll look like a great first step in bringing them all together. And I loved the film, but when you stop and think about the story there isn't really much of one. Whereas here, like there was a very in-depth story, and there was more to the story than what the advertising of the film made you believe. And how well kept a secret all the Hydra stuff was. Compare that to, and I'm gonna hate on the film. Get ready, everybody. Compare that to Amazing Spider-Man 2, where if you watch all the TV spots and all the featurettes, yeah, you know a lot of the dirty secrets of the film. And I'm going into this film feeling like I know a lot, but when
I'm
you
dying.
I I'm dying. But when you look at how Captain America was advertised, it was very very uh, it was incredibly well done, very classy.
hmm
did you
it
tell
made you
the
think that
captain
you knew
about his
everything.
shield?
That's not what he said,
Would
but
have
he
made it
should
more
have.
interesting.
They did a good job of making you think that you knew everything
Yeah.
by, some TV spots and some trailers showing you it's like, oh, Bucky's the Winter Soldier. Like they did a good job of making you think that they're spoiling it when in reality they are not. They kept all their biggest secrets uh, underground, which was really awesome. I was very surprised to see that this film had a lot of cool secrets to give away.
How
Yeah,
did your audiences react to the Bucky reveal?
I've actually got a few really cool sort of audience moments. The first one being the Bucky reveal, which me seeing it a few times now. Uh, every time there's a gasp, and it's so awesome because me being a guy where that's basic knowledge,
Yeah.
knowing that automatically, seeing people see that for the first time is such a cool feeling because you're watching them, experience this heartbreaking fact that his best friend is this killer that he has to hunt down. So cool. Another big thing that always gets a huge gasp, which it's not surprising, is whenever Black Widow is fighting Winter Soldier and she gets shot out of nowhere,
Oh,
just
really?
just because of how well, I mean, she's just running and how loud it is, and she just falls every time I hear someone go, because it just happens. There's no warning or anything. Black Widow gets shot and she goes down.
That to me, that moment felt like it could have been. I wondered if they were going to be writing off Black Widow for a second there,
Yeah.
because yeah, that was really well done. My experience with the Bucky reveal was like when it happened, and just all these people gasped, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. Um, and because I figured, advanced screening, this is going to be a lot of hardcore fans here. I think a lot of the hardcore fans had already bought tickets for the midnight screening by the time this was announced. So this was just sort of more people who would go to midnight screenings who aren't necessarily comic book fans. When I saw it the first time, and yeah, like a lot of gasps, and then when I saw it the second time, I was interested to see what the audience reaction would be like because the cinema was nowhere near as full, and it was a really quiet cinema. Like some of the jokes people weren't laughing at, and I was like, damn it, I feel weird being the only one laughing. Um, and yeah, so then people, but that did get a reaction the second time still, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, well, there were only about 2 people in the theater, so for me. So,
Did
uh,
you gasp?
uh, what?
Oh.
No, Bucky! No!
No, no, Bucky! No, Bucky!
um, even I don't think even my girlfriend gasped. So,
Oh,
I
okay.
I mean, even in the second screening, I don't know. I would have liked people to have to have gasped. I think more people, because at first a lot of people won't actually recognize him. He does look very different from the first movie. Um, and I
I
think
wondered if people were gonna recognize him because I wondered if they remembered what Bucky even looked like from the first film. And
mm,
I know we
Yeah.
see him briefly in a photo, but I just didn't know if people would. Is he hasn't got like such a distinctive face that people would remember, you know?
yeah,
Yeah, what's a
he
Bucky?
has quite a sort of not generic, but just kind of a good looking guy face.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he's a beautiful man.
Yeah. But yeah, the second time I saw it, I didn't hear anyone. I think I may have heard when Captain America said Bucky when he looked at him, and everyone, and I heard a couple of people be like, "Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Oh,
I get it.
okay.
oh, it's Bucky." Well, right.
Who the hell is Bucky?
What the hell's a Bucky?
The fuck is that?
What's a Magneto?
Beautiful creature. All right. I
Magneto's
think we
kids
should.
are in the movie.
I want to talk about some of the biggest like geek out moments I had during this film.
So do
Uh,
I.
good, because
Let's
that's what we're talking
do
about.
it.
I am.
Patience,
Uh,
Sam.
I'm sorry.
yeah. Chicks dig the patience.
Ah,
So first, I guess
copyright Sam Gavin.
biggest moment. First biggest moment that my friend and I had was the reveal of Arnim Zola. Spoilers.
Yeah.
This was one of the coolest things this movie could have done.
Yeah.
When we saw the first Avenger, we were joking about how Arnim Zola's like his whole dream is to be a big head in a robot. Like when he was little, he was like, "Mom, I want to be a big head in the big robot body," and his mom like hit him because he's idiot. He's an idiot. Then whenever he starts talking, and he's got the little camera up top, my friend and I just looked at each other. No, no, and it was
Yeah.
him. It was Toby Jones as Arnim Zola. He finally did it. He achieved his goal of being a computer screen, and they couldn't have done it in a more perfect way. I'm so happy that he served his purpose. A lot of people are talking about like, oh, they should bring him back as a big robot man. I personally don't need that. I think it's fine the way he was. He was the remaining head of Hydra that like was able to seep into Shield and sort of destroy it from within. That's really cool. And
Are people
as
seriously saying that it should have been a robot?
yes, because people are stupid.
People are
And Alexander
stupid.
Pierce
Far out.
says,
Fans don't know
like,
what they want.
Yeah.
yeah, they don't. And, I'm the biggest cat fan in this call, and I know what I want. And I want Toby Jones as an exploded computer, and that's what I got. Robert Redford says, well, I'd cost me Zola. Well, he's gone.
Yeah,
And,
no, I noticed that the second time. I didn't notice that the first time. I went, oh, you mean he's not
yeah.
coming back?
And then he's like, oh, Granada. Should have knocked. Bang, bang. Granada's dead. Uh,
That
but
bit made me
yeah,
laugh.
that
I know
whole
it shouldn't
sequence
have,
was.
but it made me laugh. He's just
I
like, damn
loved.
it.
I loved Bucky sitting there. That was really cool. You could,
Wants some milk,
yeah, he offers him milk.
and then he doesn't take it. What the hell? So yeah, Arnim Zola. I don't know if you guys geeked out as much as I did, but
Oh,
I
I
yeah.
did.
I
Yeah.
lost it. So cool. Ah, he did it. He did it.
Like I'm a Captain America fan. I'm not anywhere near as well read as you or as a lot of other people, I'm sure. But Arnim Zola was one of the things I really liked about the first Avenger, and I love Toby Jones. He's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
he's short.
he's a tremendous actor, and whether it's him playing Hitchcock or when he's Dobby, yeah, Anthony's favorite Harry Potter character.
No, fuck Dobby.
Darby, or
Fucking
uh, or,
Voldemort and Dobby are scaring the shit out of me right now.
or my personal favorite Toby Jones film, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Oh, good movie.
Yeah, like I was hoping they were going to bring him back in some way, but I was like, yeah, he's not going to appear in a robot's stomach. Like that's going to be weird. And then when they were doing it, like my friend and I just like looked at each other like, oh my god, they did it. And what was really funny to me watching it the second time is that in case you don't know who it is, they show you his face on a screen. And I just love the fact that Zola is like, in case you don't know who I am, here is mugshot of me.
In case you don't know, because you don't.
Yeah, like Scarlett Johansson doesn't.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah, and that was
But
a
yeah, that moment was great.
yeah, great moment, and it was like it was sort of little. It was changed for the sake of the film, and it worked.
Yes.
It
Yeah,
both
it was changed that worked within the context of the film.
yeah
And like I said, I don't know how they could have done robot body, like
yeah.
AI
There's only
head.
so
Like it
far you
just
can
would,
take that.
yeah,
That'd be super silly. Like, we already have to believe that in this universe, Toby Jones put his brain in a computer. It would be even more weird if he was like a giant robot.
yes. Like
We don't need to believe that.
yeah, I'm not saying that like you couldn't buy it because there's like we've got the God of Thunder and all sorts of stuff in this universe, but just aesthetically, it would have looked really silly.
Yeah,
Yeah, why would we even need him as a robot? What's Cap gonna fight him?
Yeah, exactly.
No, he would
Es-
use his intellect
yeah,
to shoot a missile at him.
especially as this is a genre movie, and it was pretty much a kind of spy political thriller thing. You put a guy in a robot suit with a giant head, and I think something feels out of place there.
Exactly.
It's like exactly why the Russos decided not to make Robert Redford Red Skull. They
Yeah.
said they thought about it, but we already spent enough time trying to convince people that Arnim Zola could be a computer. We didn't want to waste more time on trying to convince people that Red Skull either is still alive or transferred his mind into another body,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he
I'm
does in the
so glad he
comics.
didn't. I'm so glad he didn't turn out to be Red Skull. I was waiting for that reveal. And to be fair, the reveal they finally went with was just he was working with Winter Soldier, whatever. That's at least better than if they were just like, it's Red Skull, he's back, because that would have just been boring.
Yeah, I, I was half. I thought they were going to do that, but I didn't go into the film expecting that. But I thought he was going to be in some ways a villain of the film. And then when one of the things I love, Robert Redford's a great actor. Like newsflash. But I thought he did such a great job at making you think that he was not a bad guy for a while. Like when he's talking to the council and he's like, "What are you calling for my resignation?" And also like his conversations with Nick Fury, or when he tells Steve that why do you think we're having this conversation and stuff like that. Like I thought he did a tremendous job at making you think that he was not going to be evil businessman number one, you know?
Hmm.
Mm. And I love those. I love that scene between him and Cap because very much. Because I think one of the things that because people seem much more, Team Cap now that they've seen this movie, and besides the whole sort of making him socially relevant again, I think this film went out of its way to make him a badass, and it really worked. You know,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
things like things in particular like his scene between him and Robert Redford. You know, he's standing up for what he believes in, and he's kind of saying to him, "What did Nick Fury tell you?" And he's not being a little pussy about it. He's saying, "You told me not to trust anyone. Now come and get me if you need me. I'm gonna be working. Fuck you." Um, and then you've got the scene where he's fighting that what's his face at the very beginning, and then guy says, "I thought you were more than just a shield." And he takes his
Patrick
mask.
Philippa.
Yeah, he takes his
I
mask
loved
off.
Patrick.
He takes his mask off. He puts a shield on it. Is that a magnet on his back? Is that how he keeps putting the shield
Yeah,
on there?
yeah.
And then he
What
fights him. Yeah,
the one thing I thought was really funny about when he took the helmet off was that he has helmet hair.
yeah.
Um, and like I didn't notice it the first time. Second time I was like, your hair's messy.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, I would say that's such a cool scene because one, you get the line, are you more than just a shield, which
Yeah,
definitely translates throughout the entire film,
Yeah.
exactly.
and we
Yeah,
get an awesome fight scene between him and Batroc. The fact that we have Batroc in this film is super cool. He's not necessarily a character that needed to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but they take him and they could have just made him like a cool villain to have at the beginning of the movie, but all of that still like stays in play for the rest of it. It was both a cool scene to show how cool Captain America is, but also move the plot forward later on. I think
yeah,
that's really cool. I was not expecting that when I first saw it. I thought, oh, cool, we're just gonna get an awesome fight with him and Batroc, and
Yeah.
got all that cool shield stuff going on. Crossbones is here. He's cool. The guy who Kirk thought was the Punisher, he's here too. All right.
yeah,
So it was just an awesome scene. The way he uses his shield in this, there's one particular moment where he just like bashes it on a dude. It like bounces up and he catches it in mid spin and just puts it on his back.
yes.
It is so cool. And then as he's running, he just punches a dude off the edge. Ah, it's awesome.
I also like
This is
how
exactly what I wanted to see.
we got to see Captain America speaking a bit of French.
Yeah,
It's kind of like, oh, he's well educated.
a learned man.
Mm.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting considering new set pictures from Age of Ultron shows we're going to be getting a 1940s scene set in France.
Mm.
So
That's
that's kind
interesting.
of interesting. Yeah,
When he
we're gonna
meets
see how
Batroc's
he.
father.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, I'm gonna beat up your son. I'm gonna take him out with a Batroc move.
The
I don't
one
care
great
how
thing,
many UFC championships he's won.
the one great thing they could do with or utilize with the fact that they kind of just skipped over a bunch of stuff in the first film with that montage, is that you can say a bunch of stuff happened that we didn't get to see. Um, and you can
Yeah, it skipped several years.
yeah, you've license to say, oh, he learned this, he met this guy. You've got the Oliver Queen on the island, Liberty there, where you can say, oh yeah,
Yeah,
I met this guy.
exactly. That guy.
Captain America met Slade, it's
Yeah,
great,
that
That
would
I
be
want
the
to see.
greatest fight ever.
and he
Man,
saved Scarlett Johansson instead of Haley Atwell, and oh god, imagine making that choice.
don't even.
Don't.
Don't even. I don't need that right now.
I'm sorry.
Oh, oh my goodness.
Which one
Did
would
we all like Scarlett Johansson in this movie?
Oh
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I don't
Same.
like her
She
hair,
was
but I love
so
her.
good.
That's such a silly thing, but I absolutely loved her hair in the Avengers, and in this she like flattens it down, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like a lot of people were talking about her hair when the first trailer hit, and then there were people like, "Why are you talking about her hair? It's not that big a deal." I just want to. I'll reference that real quick. I like the fact that in all three of her films she has different hair because she's a spy, and one of the plot points of this movie is that she's constantly changing her life and changing her identity. And there's that line where Cap says, "Must be a hard way to live." She says, "But it's a great way not to die." And
Like a James Bond title.
a great way not to die. That's the theme. I wrote it already.
A great way
Um,
not to die. Bow, bow, bow.
Oh,
wow. So anyway, I really like her hair, and I meant too. I didn't know why they changed it in Avengers at all, and then it's it's just really flat here. But it's Scarlett Johansson, so
Yeah, I don't see
she's
it.
I
she's
love
a
the line.
tremendous looking
I
lady.
love the line where she
The
says,
bikini line.
"Yeah," where she goes bye bye bikinis, and he goes, "Yeah, but you look terrible in them now."
Yeah,
Well, that
I
was
liked
good.
that line
Yeah,
too.
the banter between them
Yeah,
was
she
really
looks
great.
great.
Yeah, I really loved the scene in the car where she says, "Was that your first kiss since 1945?"
Yes.
He's like, "No, I'm 90, not dead."
No.
It's a lie.
And there's also, I noticed this in the second screening, there's actually a reference to the original Captain America movie in this scene.
Where'd you
Uh,
learn to steal a car?
Where'd you learn how to
Yeah,
steal it? I loved it.
Nazi Germany. We're not stealing, we're borrowing. Get your feet off the dash.
Wait, what was the reference to the original film?
You know, in the original film how he keeps pretending to throw up and then he nicks people's cars.
And then he steals cars.
And
Oh, in
then
the '90s film.
yeah, and then Scarlett
Yeah.
Oh,
Johansson says, "When did you learn how to steal cars?"
okay. I have not actually watched that film all the
Oh,
way
okay.
through,
Don't.
so that's a nice reference though.
Yeah.
That was really good.
They should have topped it off with, "Can you pull over for a second? I think I'm gonna throw up."
I have to throw up because of America. It's
So much
almost
America.
shield.
Rocking my
So
America.
bonnet.
much America. That
Wow,
guy from the Apple Store. Ugh.
There's
Ugh.
I loved that scene.
yeah, the Apple Store scene. That completely
Did you
took
not
me out
like
of
it?
the movie.
I love that scene. Oh well, you know.
I thought that scene was good because I mean we've all been to the Apple Store.
I have.
Have you, Sam?
I have.
Okay, so we've all been to the Apple Store, and those guys always come up to you and ask if you need help. And just I loved the top of. I love how uh, Chris Evans says, "Yeah, we're getting married." That made me laugh. But just the whole specimen that made me laugh.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was it was a
I thought
funny
it
it was a
too.
funny scene. It's just that they were in the Apple Store. It just took me out.
Okay,
It's a
you
nitpick.
thought that
It's
was
it's a
too.
big nitpick. I'm not saying it's a bad scene.
It was good.
Did
Everyone
it bother
chill
you
out,
because it's
God.
sorry?
Everyone chill out, God.
Did it bother you because it wasn't because it's a reference to something that's today and in the future that might become outdated?
Mm, not really. It was just kind of it. I don't know. It was just like, oh yeah, no. I don't know. I can't express. I can't articulate my thoughts. Uh,
Okay.
it was just like, oh, that's what other people do. Go to the Apple Store. It's very silly. I know that's one of the places you would go if you needed to find a computer or something. Whatever.
I've been with a friend where he booked tickets on the computer at the Apple Store. So I was talking to Duke the other day, and he was talking about how that scene wasn't realistic because they don't let you use the computers there. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, well, that's like the whole point of the Apple Store.
Yeah, apparently they don't in
I think
in
I think
Nebraska.
Nebraska because it's all black and white there.
Yeah, it's a movie.
I think they
It's
might have
just a
a
movie there.
I think they might have a bit of a quarrel with you putting memory sticks in there.
He's just Steve was so good looking that the guy just didn't care.
He's
And
like, you
and
look
look, it's
just
it's
like Clark Kent.
and look, it's a film with a robot guy from the fucking 70s. I think we can have I think we can have a memory stick in an Apple computer.
Yeah, exactly. Come on.
There is something I noticed about this that I noticed this movie did really well, and it's giving exposition in scenes without making things boring. It made sure to keep uh, other interesting things going on at the same time. Like
Yeah,
when I love the scene where Steve is walking around and he goes to the museum about himself. Um,
that was great.
Slightly self-indulgent, but whatever.
Hey,
And
I would do it.
Yeah, come on. If there was a museum about you and or a museum exhibition about you at the Smithsonian, and you had been frozen for 50 years, then you'd want to see it. Come on.
I would totally check out a museum of me.
I'm joking, people. I didn't think that was self-indulgent.
Which one of you is going to be my friend that dies? That's the real question.
Yeah. Well, that scene was great because it was, in case you guys forgot, this is what Bucky looked like, and this is what happened in the last film, and
Yeah.
there's Hydra that he fought them. And whilst all of that is going on, you've also got Chris Evans doing a great performance and looking all sad and all that kind of stuff. And
Telling kids to shut up.
telling, yeah,
That's exactly what he did. Shut up.
Shut up, kid.
Yeah, that was him. I like how he was like the only one watching that interview with Peggy, with like the mom and her daughter.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
It was like Sam going to see the movie. It was like two other people there.
But yeah,
Yeah,
continue.
I liked that. Sorry, I liked the Smithsonian scene. And just because like I did love the part where the kid's looking at him with his his eyes wide and he goes shh, and the kid
Yeah.
just nods his head. That was funny.
That's a
My-
superhero moment.
Yeah.
My brother always liked to say that in the after credit scene with Bucky, the same thing happened. The kid looked at him,
Yeah.
but when Bucky went to put his finger up, it's a robot. So when he did it, it made that scream sound that it's in his theme song. So it just went.
That's awesome.
And yeah, and then Bucky had to leave because he's being too loud. So
I
he didn't
did
get to learn too much about himself.
I did find it very funny how he's literally wearing the same thing, and he does the same thing as Captain America.
Yeah, he's wearing the hood and
He's
everything.
wearing the hood and the hat
Yeah,
and all that stuff.
I have that hat. It makes me feel proud about myself.
Wait, what hat was it? I missed the hat.
It's just a blue hat,
Okay.
and I have one.
Oh, you have a
It
blue
was
hat. Okay.
it was a cap. Get it?
Yes, it's $3 at
Captain
Walmart.
America.
King of Zing. Sam, everybody.
We should talk about Stephen Strange
Okay.
Oh yeah.
because
That's
I want
great.
to talk about it. Oh my goodness, I shat myself.
I squealed like the Prometheus theme, and I was the only one in the cinema who did that, and I felt very alone. I was the only one who picked it up, apart from my brother, who expressed his excitement without vocalizing it, whereas I did. And I turned to my friend, the great Tristan Black, and said to him, "Stephen Strange," and he looked at me, he looked back at the screen, and looked back at me and went, "Oh, cool."
I'm watching the movie.
I completely lost it whenever Sitwell said that. Speaking of which, Sitwell, he was a Hydra agent. He's dead now.
Poor Sitwell.
He got hit by a truck.
I thought he was going to be that one Shield agent that just popped up in all the films, and he was going to have a gig for life. This actor, poor guy.
He's gone.
He was evil.
Yep.
Pure evil.
That's one of
But
the.
he has left behind a great meme.
Well, in
Yeah,
doing so,
yes.
he's become a more
One of my
memorable
favorites.
character.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, that was so awesome to hear Stephen Strange because I know like Marvel and Kevin Feige been talking for a long time, like oh it's in the works, but now that we've actually had someone say it in a film, it's really cool to see, and it's not like this is back in the day where you put Remy LeBeau on Stryker's computer and you're like oh it's someday maybe. Nowadays you say something it means it.
Yeah.
So we know we're getting Doctor Strange.
And the
So
great
that
thing
was
about that is that the directors literally just kind of went up to Kevin Feige and said, "Do you mind if we put this line in?" And he said, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
we're doing it. So,
yeah.
mention him.
That's great.
And we know that Kevin Feige has a very clear plan for the future of the cinematic universe. So it's obvious that it's not like what if we told you we were putting a team together? Who's we? And it has no like they don't know what the future of the franchise is going to be.
Well, you were saying it had Noah.
No, it didn't have Noah.
Poor child.
Oh, I've started making the joke after seeing every single movie that Nick Fury is going to come and recruit them. And I watched Noah last week. The credits started.
Does he recruit?
Here comes Nick Fury.
I'm here to recruit everyone on the boat.
There were people when I saw X-Men Origins Wolverine. We stayed for the after credit scene. There were these group of like people our age. They were out of high school, but they weren't adults, like adults. And they just called us all. I just said that we're all not adults. That's a lie. But anyway, there were these young adults, and they were really disappointed, and they groaned when Nick Fury didn't show up and recruit Wolverine for the Avengers. They were certain that that was going to happen. I was like, you are fools. Bless you.
Thank you.
But like, you know enough about Marvel to know that Nick Fury is recruiting people for the Avengers and that the Avengers is coming. But you don't know enough to know that it's owned by a different property. It's owned by a different company. Yes.
This is like a prequel to the X-Men.
Exactly. So the Avengers was going to be set before X-Men 1.
I remember only staying through the end credits of Origins Wolverine because they did it with X-Men 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they had the scene with Charles as his twin brother or something like that.
Whatever.
Some fucking weird explanation.
Charles.
Hello,
I love how Brett Ratner like explained that in the commentary, saying, "Oh, it's we got Patrick Stewart to lie there and film it." I was like, "Well, they actually got Patrick Stewart to do it," and he said because it's going to be his twin brother. I was like, "Oh God, way to instantly ruin it."
It's going to be Juggernaut.
Yeah.
I'm Xavier, bitch.
Oh my god! Could you imagine just the Juggernaut just being dubbed over by Patrick Stewart, and he's like, "Look at me, I can walk."
Got no legs.
He's smashing through things like, "Way,
fuck you,
I'm
Magneto."
the coolest."
It's like
it's Magneto out of the way.
punches him
just pushes Ian McKellen to the wall. He's like, "You're in my way."
He high fives Wolverine, and Wolverine goes like flying through the ground.
He high fives Iceman, and he shatters.
It just becomes becomes a really depressing story about Xavier going mad with power, and they have to stop him. Bless him.
The
one time the guy
could or hilarious story.
I'm really interested to see how they're going to explain how McAvoy's walking in Days of Future Past.
Oh yeah,
because we see him in a wheelchair. I wonder if at one point he's just going to go, you know what? I've just been really depressed all these years. I've actually been able to walk this whole time.
Yeah,
I genuinely wonder if they're going to do that.
I'm thinking Hank has made some kind of machine. It's funny, in of all things, I'm going to reference this: the Birds of Prey TV series.
Woo!
There is a thing. There's a concept in the show where Barbara, who's Oracle, has a machine that can make her walk for a certain amount of time, but it hurts like hell and it might cause more damage to her. And I'm thinking that Xavier's going to have a machine like that where he needs to walk right now to save the future. So he has a machine, but then after that he's going to be permanently paralyzed. So
you're welcome to try it, Alfred.
Yeah, like that. It's really funny in X-Men First Class when he's racing Beast. I turned to my friends and I was like, "Oh, back when Xavier could run," and because it's actually kind of ironic that they do that. Like he's running and he's like chasing. I'm not chasing. He's running against Beast. It's actually kind of.
I wish they had more scenes of like him jumping and him doing squats.
Yeah, because we know how much it means to him in X-Men 2 when he can stand.
Yeah, and it should be a scene where it's like, "Please take a seat," and he goes.
Why? I can walk.
I'm walking home.
He runs around the room like, "I'll have these forever."
Are you kidding?
Anyway, we're not talking about Captain America anymore.
Yeah, that didn't happen in Captain America. So.
Yeah, when Stephen Strange happened. Do you want to talk about the Falcon and how cool he was?
Falcon was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. My friend Skylar put it best, saying he walked in this movie expecting to like Falcon. He was not expecting to love Falcon, and that's pretty true. I'm a Cap guy, and I know how important Falcon is in the Cap universe, but he's never been one of my favorite characters. I understand his importance, and I don't hate the guy. I'm just never too interested in him. After seeing this, Falcon's a badass. He's just an awesome, charismatic guy who just was like the first scene in the movie when him and Steve meet. Just boom, these two are going to be best buds.
I also loved that opening.
Awesome.
I loved how calm that opening was. It was like it just sort of faded in, and it's an early morning, and they're going for a jog. I just loved how simple and effective it was. It didn't feel like, we've got to open the movie with this massive action sequence. I mean, to be fair, they did a bit afterwards, but it was a nice sort of calm opening. I liked it.
Yeah, and we got the first Avenger theme in there too, which I love.
Did
So
we? I completely
that
missed
was
it.
really nice. Well, I.
Yeah, I noticed that too. And something that I really liked about it, having been to Washington, D.C., like that whole area around the Lincoln Monument and all that sort of thing, it's really beautiful. And
Mm.
just like it is a place, excuse me, it is a place where people would, where residents would jog around. And I love how you can see Falcon. And for a second, you probably think it's Steve. And then you see someone running even faster. And you're like, oh, there's Steve.
Oh, there's
Um,
Quicksilver. All right, cool.
On your left.
sorry.
I said, all
Yeah.
right, there's Quicksilver.
Yeah, here comes Quicksilver. Um, and
I gotta get the Carl's Jr.
wait for me, Colossus. And yeah, I really liked that opening, and I thought that James Mackey, I hadn't seen him in a whole lot before this film.
What's he
He
been in?
was in Gangster Squad and stuff, and I didn't realize that until talking to people afterwards,
Was he in
and
Red Tails, or am I just being racist?
he probably was. I don't know.
Let's hope
Was
he
he in
is.
12 Years a Slave? I don't know.
Um, Jesus. So yeah, I hadn't really seen much of him before that. And after this film, I was just like, wow, he's gonna explode soon. He's gonna be a big star. And I when they cast Falcon, I thought, okay, like I know Falcon's important, but he's Cap's buddy, but I don't need to see Falcon in this film. And they found a way to make him instantly likable to someone who didn't like him,
Yeah.
and they like really well done. He was great.
Yeah, I remember when they started putting out episodes of the Avengers Assemble cartoon series, and the only reason they'd put Falcon in there was because he's in Captain America, and he was really annoying and loud and jokey, and he just really bugged the hell out of me, and he looked terrible, and I thought, oh God, is this what he's going to be like in Captain America? Completely
Yeah,
different, nothing like him. A serious character. He's got a quick wit, very nice banter. Him and Steve work well together. Steve is very serious to the point. Falcon kind of has a laugh with him. I liked the bit when Steve made his big speech and then Falcon just kind of goes, "Did you write that down?"
did you
Or
write that? I loved that.
yeah,
Because it was like a big film cliche, like him giving the inspirational speech to all the people who are infiltrated by evil people. Like that is a bit of a film cliche, but they just followed it up with, "Did you write that down?" Like,
Yeah, and like the smile that he has on his face is really kind of like as soon as he started talking, you can tell he thought of saying that to him. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
I will say something real funny when he's done.
I've got a funny. Um, it was he had a lot of funny lines, and he was the one who was like the comedic character in it. But
Yeah, without being like super comic relief about it.
Yeah,
yeah, and
it's
without
Iron
being
Man 3.
annoying. Exactly. It's like there were times in Avengers where I felt like slapping Tony in the face, and it's like, oh my God, could you take this seriously for 5 seconds? But but like Falcon wasn't that sort of annoying, and there are other lines that he had where like Nick Fury is looking at everyone and he says, "Don't look at me, I just do what he does, but slower."
Oh my
Like,
goodness, that
yeah,
sad Nick Fury scene where he's like, "But my shield." So
but
like
Shield's
that.
not evil.
What about you, my brother? And he's like, "Hey, don't look at me."
Wow. What about you, my brother?
That's what he said. He didn't say it. He looked it.
Waste the
That's what he
Hydra,
was thinking.
motherfucker.
He was like, "Keep on stepping." Oh my god, to hear Nick Fury say that was so great.
Did the I've got a question. Did the Nick Fury not actually being dead reveal bother you guys?
No,
No.
just because that's so Nick Fury. Like he dies like every week.
Very
It's not-
true.
Like just
that was
kidding,
like-
I'm Nick Fury.
As
It was funny to me. I had the feeling they were going to tease killing him off, and and then when they actually did it, I thought there's that scene in the trailer that's in all of the TV spots that I'd seen all week, where he goes, "I guess you're giving the orders now, Cap." And I thought we haven't seen that. Now that could be a deleted scene. Um, so like they
Trailers
he might.
ruin the movie.
Sorry.
Trailers ruin the movie. They always spoil
Yeah,
it.
well, I just
Don't know
figured
why
at
I'm
that point.
singing.
I figured at that point that it must have been a deleted scene, and I was just, they convinced me that he was dead, and I thought that was well done.
I'm fine with them revealing that he wasn't dead because to the rest of the universe, he's still dead. I'm glad he didn't come back and is like,
Yeah,
guys, I'm Nick Fury and I'm still alive.
yeah.
Like,
If
he's
anyone,
still dead.
yeah, if anyone watched, I don't know if you guys watched the Agents of Shield episode that took place after this film.
No,
I haven't yet. I've planning to just because I want to see what it does, but
because
I
Agent
haven't
Ward
watched it
is
yet.
Hydra.
I
Sorry,
know that much.
Agent Ward is Hydra. I know that much.
which one's Agent Water? Is that Bill? What's his face? Bill Paxton.
No, Bill Paxton is the clairvoyant. Ward was the dude from the one of the Shield guys, like from the first episode.
Bill Paxton is the son, legitimately, of the plane that pierced his body came from his gilder.
No way.
Yeah,
It came from his trailer.
yeah.
But yeah,
Came from your glider. No, his glider.
but yeah, in
And then Harry pretends to hit him, and he's like, ah.
but in that episode of Agents of Shield, there's a bit when they're all sort of everyone's shouting at each other because they don't know who they can trust. It's not a very good episode, but it's not very good.
What episodes of that show?
It's not a very good show. Yeah. But I mean, there's a pretty good line where they kind of say, "Look, we need to get Nick Fury on the phone," and then it's revealed sort of later on in the episode, Nick Fury's dead. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Good.
So
Yeah, I'm glad the other Avengers don't know he's alive. Like, I hope that's kind of something in Age of Ultron they do, where it's like, oh, well, Nick Fury's dead, and Cap is like, oh, yeah, he's dead.
I'm really curious as to if they're ever going to even bother trying to explain how no one has managed to stumble on the fact that Coulson's alive.
Oh my god.
He's
Yeah,
still
like,
out there walking around.
Maybe they do, they just don't care anymore. They're like, we know he's here. We can see him. They look over. Coulson's like hiding in a bush. Like, we just don't want to point it out because he'll probably cry or something.
It's funny, Sam. I was listening to our video the other day, about we did a television, like comics into television podcast,
Right.
and I was listening to it because Agents of Shield had only just debuted at that time, and I brought up the point of the fact that he's just walking around LA and he's everyone's got their cameras out,
He's got his megaphone
and
out.
yeah, and just how
I
bad
am Agent Coulson.
I'm alive.
I'm still alive, everyone. Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, don't
me.
look over here. I'm still dead.
I am the Agent Coulson from the Avengers.
And just how badly kept a secret that is.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be when there was someone saying, "Bring her here. I'll take a look at her." I thought it was going to be Coulson in Captain America. And then when it was a doctor, I thought, "Oh, maybe it'll be Stephen Strange." But no, it was just some guy.
I don't know who the fuck that was. That was just some dude.
For a second, it looked like Hank Azaria. And I was like, cool, it's Hank Azaria. But no, it wasn't him either. So,
Fun fact: this movie is the first movie to have a Stephen Strange reference since Spider-Man 2.
I love that he's just a common reference.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to be referenced in X-Men.
yes,
Apocalypse, not Days of Future Past.
Doctor Strange.
he's going to be.
That's pretty
Apocalypse.
But it's taken.
But it's taken.
Wait, I got a Doctor Octopus. I
I
like it.
like that scene.
Crap.
Mega crap.
I got crap.
What are you waiting for? A raise? Get out.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2 is a great sequel to the first Avenger.
Yep.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is a shitty film altogether. Oh.
Have you seen it yet?
No, I'm seeing it on Wednesday.
I'm looking at.
I'm kidding. It could be the best Spider-Man film yet. I'm just saying. The whole
It's
film's
not
been
gonna
released.
be.
All the reviews are pretty mixed, but I'm not hearing anyone say it was amazing.
Yeah, I've not heard anyone super praise it. I've heard Andrew Garfield been praised 1,000 times, but he
Well,
was praised in the first film as well.
it's exactly like the first one. You know, great chemistry. That's great. Whatever. What about the script?
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't want to see them in chemistry class. I want to see him Spider-Man.
I
and
loved the scene where the lizard mixed those two things together and it made an
Great
explosion.
chemistry.
Yeah, great chemistry.
That's perfect. I want that picture now. Just lizard, great chemistry.
yeah. I mean
These two acids have great chemistry. Explosion.
the kind of at the moment we're in a kind of it's good to look at the reviews at the moment before all the fan reviews come in and the movie gets undeserved praise. So
Yes.
that's assuming it's bad. It could be very good. I will go into it with an open mind, but it's not sounding very good. It sounds quite. Sounds
Sounds like
exactly like the first one.
sounds like you had a little trouble getting that out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, I kind of burped in the middle of it and hiccuped and I
And you
farted
pissed
and
all over the floor.
I threw up and
Oh, Jesus.
it was mad for a second. But then I reclaimed my health and I came back just to finish the sentence.
Good.
You're welcome, America.
I'm glad. Can we take a moment to talk about calculations?
Oh my God. When he showed up, so happy.
Oh my! It that was just another moment where Skylar and I were just like, "Oh my God, he's here! Why is he here?"
He was also an arrow,
He made
wasn't
a point. Yes.
Yes,
See, this is the thing about this guy. Calculations. Uh,
he
he
gets
is
killed.
terrible at making friends. In the
Yes.
first one, he makes friends and he gets killed by the Joker. In Arrow, he makes friends. He gets killed by Malcolm Merlin. In this one, he makes friends. He gets killed by Robert Redford. He is just not good at making friends.
he?
He's good at calculations.
There is a deleted scene from an episode of What Did We Do where I we're gonna have the adventures of Lau. Where it's just gonna be
We have
him
more.
walking around in both Arrow and Dark Knight telling everyone he was good at calculations. And I decided that the whole joke wasn't that funny, so I just cut it down to the scene that ended up being him talking to Morgan Freeman, and Morgan Freeman's talking about I'm not really a skirt chaser, and
I'm a
but
mama's boy.
I'm a mama's boy, and he tells him a couple of times in that scene that he's good at calculations. But now I'm like, okay, now I've just got to wait because I need to wait for Winter Soldier to come out on DVD. Now I've got all kinds of jokes. But it was funny. My brother turned to me and said, "He's good at calculations." And then my friend Tristan turned to me and said, "He's good at calculations." Everyone was happy to see him. It was great.
He's so good at calculations. He's not friends. Yeah, it was. I was so happy to see him. It's a shame that he's dead.
I wanted Nick Fury to point at him and say, "And if the talking tubes so-called plan," but that didn't happen.
No, he should have said that to Artem.
Did anyone else think that when that when you know when you guys know when yeah
Well,
that was
this is the
great.
thing.
I'm I'm sorry, what? No, I don't know what we're talking about.
Okay, the bit when
No one does.
you know. Okay, okay. I'll stop doing the joke. I'll stop doing the joke. It's when
What? What
oh
joke?
fucking hell, I can't put into words what this moment is. It's Scarlett Johansson as one of the top Shield women, and she kicks Robert Redford's ass. Did anyone else think that would have been cooler if it was just straight up one of the top Shield agents?
Well, she wasn't a
Uh,
Shield agent. She was one of
she was just the
the
council.
council.
True.
I think it would have come out of nowhere if she was just like, "I'm kicking ass now," because then I would have wanted to see everyone on the council kick ass.
I wanted to see Lau shoot people.
Yeah. And
Fair enough.
what's the other guy's name? Powers.
Max Powers.
Yeah, Max Powers.
Um, I, that was the one part of the movie where I was like, okay, so now we have like that technology as well,
Yeah.
which it's not a big deal that they have it and they haven't explained it, but it did just come out of nowhere. It's like, oh wow, I didn't know they had the Mission Impossible 2
Yeah, I was gonna
face
say it's a
mask
bit of
stuff.
a Mission Impossible too in there.
Yeah, which I'm in, but yeah, that's another story.
You're in Mission
Yeah, I want to
Impossible
know
too.
where
That was on
she
last. That
Yes,
is.
was
I
on
am.
last night.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Where?
if
Who
you
the?
watch the end, I'm one of the kids playing at the end as Tom Cruise and the leading lady kiss.
I'm gonna watch that.
You're...
I'm gonna watch that, and I'm gonna
I'm
go.
not. I've
There
seen
he
enough,
is.
Kirk. You
Yeah.
should have a nice Kirk marathon. Watch that kid show that he was in, and then go watch his stuff on Home and Away, where he asks a girl for a little tonguey. Then, um,
Thanks, dude. I
that was the thing. It's
kind of
great
counting.
watching it.
It's kind of counting on that not getting out on YouTube, but cool.
No, it's fun. It's great watching it with him because you get a great commentary.
Anyway, Captain
you should
America.
just post that scene and do a commentary, like a 2 minute long commentary, and be like, "I'm the only important person that needs to give his view on this."
It's basically what he said. He was like, "Everyone's terrible."
Anyway,
So I really liked the moment where Scarlett Johansson showed part of her boob, and that was my favorite part of the movie.
wait, when did she
I
what?
liked her boobs.
When did she show part of her boob? When did I miss
No,
this? What
I was just
happened?
changing the subject, but
Oh,
there was some epic side boob at one point in the film. It was hard to miss when she's hanging out of a plane.
nice.
I like the part where Captain America fought a plane and won.
Yes,
Yes, he
That
did
was
better than Liam
amazing.
Neeson did.
He like, oh man, that was
better than
so
Bruce Willis did.
cool. And he landed it with style.
Yeah, that backflip
He's
and then the
awesome.
shield, and yeah, and then the moment.
Like, this movie's just full of like epic, intense scenes. I all 4 times viewing it, I love the Nick Fury car chase scene.
Same.
That scene,
Yeah,
especially whenever they're smashing up against his window and the music's building and building, so intense. I
I love
love
it.
what they do with that.
I love it when he hits a car that hits a guy and he goes flying through like a bus stop. I laugh every time at how
He's
awesome
like,
it is.
I'm trying to live.
the only
I
thing
do
that
not have time for you.
the only thing I didn't get out of that scene, because that was a terrific scene, but the very end, did he just like dig beneath the Earth's core to get out of there or something?
Yeah, Fury used dig.
They they're talking about later how he managed to uh, save an operation by going through the sewers.
Oh,
So my I gathered from that oh okay, he went through the sewers.
right, okay.
Yeah, like a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
And then he tried to recruit them, and then he's like, nah, you got enough problems as it is.
Now how he managed to get into Captain America's apartment with a broken arm and not be seen, I don't know.
He's Nick Fury.
Uh, yeah, exactly.
I did love the line where he says, where they're kind of talking, but they're not talking about what's actually happening because Shield has been infiltrated and everyone's listening. But the bit when he's saying, who knows about this? Oh, just me and my friends. Is that what we are, Nick? Friends? I love that.
Yeah.
I love these guys, Captain America and Nick Fury. They also had chemistry, and it's great
Great
to see that.
chemistry.
Yeah, the bit when they kiss was just heartwarming.
And then Lizard like nicks some more. It was awesome.
And then the lizard killed them.
Oh no. Yeah, everyone in this movie, as far as like character relations, does really well. I guess the main one we have yet to talk about, of course, is the title character, the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And a lot of
Sebastian
people.
Stain was great.
Oh
Stain?
my goodness, you went there.
I did. Sebastian
you-
Stan was excellent.
He was excellent. A lot of people's common complaint, if anything, is that he wasn't really enough in this film. I'm fine with the amount that he was in. It really keeps up the mystery and the suspense of when he does show up. It's scary. As I've said multiple times, he's so terrifying that his theme song is just people screaming.
Yes.
Like that's how scary this character is. And obviously we're going to be getting more with them. We get that set up with the after credit scene. And I will say that it's a bit too vague on his past because we just sort of get like, oh, We've already started. We're giving you a robot arm, and it's like okay. And then Ed Brubaker shows up, and he's there.
Yes, Brubeck is one of the guys. I didn't know that.
And it's so great, like watching Brubaker. He looks worried. He's like, "Oh man, don't hurt the Winter Soldier. He's my greatest
It's his
creation."
baby.
He looks so afraid. If it would be like if they put Judd Winnick in the if they ever did Red Hood in a movie.
Yeah, he's like polishing Red Hood's helmet.
Oh man, that'd be perfect. But that was super cool to see him. I do wish we got like a bit more as far as what the Winter Soldier is in the past. Not necessarily like him fighting Steve. 'Cause, I mean, the fights we've got with him and Steve are just brilliant. Whenever he's fighting him, I feel afraid for Cap because he's so brutal. I mean, when you see him land a punch on him, you go ooh, because you hear it. You hear that contact,
Ooh.
and no one punches Captain America. Not many people can walk away and say, "Yeah, I knocked this guy out into submission." People walk away in body bags. They walk away in a body bag. That doesn't make any sense.
The
Walk
fight
away.
scenes between him and Cap were out of this world.
Oh my goodness. I
Tremendous.
love how we get that knife thing the first time
Oh, that's
and
so
it goes into the car and then he does it again and it goes right into his shoulder. Oh, that was so
yeah.
cool. Big old robot arm. Robot arm looked great, by the way.
Yeah, he looked amazing.
Yeah.
Looked exactly like he should do.
Yeah, right off the page.
And he actually did the he for a second he did the arrow um uh, uh, uh,
He just farted.
Excuse me?
I
Repeat that, please?
I was
He
messing it
did
up
the
and I
arrow.
decided to if I was gonna do it I was gonna go for it.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
Yeah, what I was going
Well,
to
we're just
say
gonna forget.
is he used the arrow alternative to wearing a mask and just spray painted his eyes.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, but he
funny
only does
because
that once.
there was an image that they released where he's got the eye makeup and he's also got the shaggy long hair and he looks like Island Oliver but with the Green Arrow makeup. It's like they had not. He's like cosplaying as Arrow, but he hasn't actually watched the show.
Yeah, and that's never in the film. Like
Yeah,
him with just the eye makeup on is never in it, which is so weird considering they released that image. And when you buy the Winter Soldier figure, that's an alternate head that you can have on, is him with the eye makeup.
and
So
one of the trailers that they released that you had seen before a film was like a special trailer where they show the elevator scene. At the end of it, he picks up Captain America's shield, puts it on his arm, and then they pan up and he's got the panda eyes.
yeah, that's
That did
right.
not happen in the film.
Weird.
That was also a nice nod when he had the shield.
Yeah, they
Oh,
did that in the first film as well, and at the time I
Oh
was
yeah,
like,
they did.
yeah, reference.
they're gonna keep doing it like more and more every movie until Steve Rogers is dead.
Well, the
Until
question
Steve is
is, do
dead
you
and then
reckon
decides I don't want you.
the question is, do you guys reckon they will kill off Steve? Do you reckon that's what they're setting up here?
Oh, absolutely.
I actually thought that they were going to. They convinced me for a second that Steve was going to die in this. When Bucky's beating him up and then he starts drowning, I was like, oh my god, they might be killing him off here. And this whole like releasing images of him on set of Age of Ultron, it's all been so they can fool us into thinking that he doesn't die and he's just automatically in the film. They convinced me for a second, and but they didn't do that. So yeah, I think they will eventually. And
Yeah.
as Anthony noted, I think on Grundy, um, plugging our own show, that was really poor of me. I'm sorry. Um, I think eventually, like they will kill him off, and it'll be the first superhero to officially die in his own film.
I totally think Marvel's gonna go the route and have a character die and stay dead. Because I mean, Marvel's setting the bar with these films, and what better way to do that than kill off a major character in a film? I mean, like we said, previous films, no superhero, at least a title character, has ever died in their own film. So to have it be Captain America, the symbol of all like hope and justice in the Marvel universe, would be a major impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And perfect setup for Bucky considering Sebastian Stan has 9 more movies.
And it,
And Chris Evans has announced how he's going to be finishing up at some point soon. So
Yeah, once he's done, he's done. He's going on to direct other things, which
then
is
he'll
awesome.
direct Captain America 8.
Oh my
8.
goodness, that'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be a great sort of, because no one really has the balls to do it. They always tease at it in movies and trailers and promotional material. If Marvel actually, and we know that Marvel have big balls and we know that they can take risks, if they straight up just kill off Captain America and don't bring him back and use it to set up a really cool character arc for Winter Soldier, props to them, because that's a brave thing to do, killing off Captain America. But they can do what
Yeah,
they like.
especially after how much money this one made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're gonna take risks. I mean,
I
they're
mean,
making Ant-Man, Doctor Strange. They're ready to take risks. They're good.
yeah, and
I
this
wouldn't
would
be
be.
surprised if in the third film they do kill him off, because I definitely think Marvel are intentionally trying to compete with DC and Batman versus Superman. So Death of
Yeah,
Captain America would be one way to get people talking about their film more
Yeah.
than you know the two biggest fictional characters of all time coming together.
yeah. And I said that a while back. That's if they want to make Captain America 3 big, then that's what they're gonna need to do. And honestly, if I had to choose, definitely right now, seeing a film like that, I would be much more intended to see a Captain America film than this Batman Superman movie. Granted, that's now coming off a Captain America high, and we haven't seen anything from Batman Superman. But I mean, Cap's my guy. I got to be there for him. So my hands are tied.
And it would be and
Um,
it's kind of the alternative to what they actually did with Tony Stark, where they kind of said, "Oh, look, we're being ballsy. He's not really Iron Man, but he will be in the next movie." And it was like, "What?
yeah,
Why'd you bother?" Whereas this would be saying, I'd at least hope they wouldn't bring him back, because they've already done that with Coulson, and it's like the next time you do it, people are not gonna think it's a big deal, and you fuck that up. Um,
yeah. The fact that they killed Nick Fury and brought him back, except they didn't really kill him. They explained that, but like Coulson died.
Yeah, I don't mind them doing it
Yeah,
in a movie because then it's like a self-contained story. But when you actually say that, a character's death really affects the rest of the characters in the movie, it affects the arcs, it affects the story, and then you bring him back and it's like, oh, okay. I think it devalues that aspect of the film. And if they do it
I
again,
agree.
and I never liked that they were going to do that. They were going to bring Coulson back. And they could have saved it in Agents of Shield and said he was a robot or something. But they just went with the really unimaginative reveal of, oh, they just did a bunch of surgeries on him and he came back.
They did
Yeah.
science on him. It's
So
okay
so it
now.
so it literally is they brought him back to life, and it's I think it makes it makes the Avengers lose something, which was integral to the emotional weight it had. Um,
Yeah, it
Yeah.
cheapens the events of that film.
yeah,
Oh, he got the magic amulet.
yeah. And that also says something about how unimaginative and just how uninspired Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is. Of all the ways you could have brought him back, they just did surgeries on him.
The one thing that made me maybe want to keep watching the show, and there were little hints to certain things like the muscle memory thing, and it wasn't working for him. And I thought, oh man, what's the reveal going to be?
Yeah.
And yeah, the fact that that's what it was, it's really sad.
Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
not one bit of, I don't know, Jatari technology, Shield technology. Literally, it was just surgeries. Ugh.
Yeah.
And also, the fact that it just pisses me off more when you go back because there was like a couple old episodes, reruns on a few months ago, and I was watching it, and they're really trying to beat you over the head with Agent Coulson as a robot. Lines being saying, oh, you're getting rusty. Ah. And
Yeah.
why would you hint at a reveal which is a lot more interesting than what you actually had in store?
Also, just the notion of every time he would say Tahiti, he goes, it just like would give this automatic robotic response of it's a magical place.
Yeah.
And
Apparently, in a recent episode, he kind of catches himself doing it, according to my dad, who's watching the show.
Really?
And there's a moment where he goes, someone says Tahiti, and he goes, "It's a magical place." It kind of realizes that every time he hears that word, he says it. So Coulson still doesn't know that he was brought back, I guess.
Yeah.
He doesn't know that he's actually a robot. They didn't actually bring him back. There's a double reveal.
So
I wouldn't be surprised if they did that.
yeah. So anyway, back to Cap. Yeah, if they actually kill him off, then keep him killed off. Let it mean something, because he's the one character that I think would shake the cinematic universe the most out of all the characters. In terms of he's the most patriotic, and he's kind of the one that the Avengers needs.
He was the
He's
first Avenger as well.
he's the first
superhero.
Avenger. And it's got to mean something when he dies, so let's not have any stupid fucking revivals.
Yeah, please. What I need when he dies is the shield breaking, so we see that symbolic thing of it being shattered. Because that needs to happen on screen. Good lord.
Yeah.
That's always one of the coolest things in comics is like, oh my god, someone broke a shield.
Yeah, I remember the bit in
The only
Avengers:
thing-
Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Your heart just breaks when it shatters.
Yeah, that's such a good show. My friend and I watched a few episodes before we went and saw Winter Soldier. Such a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see that happen. I don't know who they're gonna have kill him. Honestly, if it's gonna be Cap 3, then it's most likely gonna be Crossbones. Because obviously Crossbones is coming back, and
He is burnt
Crossbones
to a crisp.
is. Well, yeah, but they went out of his way to show that he's coming back.
I actually really want to talk about that last montage of stuff, like the fact that they show Maria Hill in Stark Industries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will be back in a minute. So talk about stuff that's not that, because I want to talk about that.
Alright, I'll talk about Crossbones.
Okay.
Crossbones
You know
is
who
cool.
Crossbones is, so go ahead.
I know who Crossbones is. That's correct. Crossbones is Captain America's Doomsday. It's his bane. It is the guy who shot Captain America on the steps of Congress, where he fell and bled out and died. Very, very sad. Like, America died in Washington, D.C. So that's not a very good sign. The fact that they decided to show us Rumlow, being taken by the hospital people, that's their names in the Marvel Universe.
Those people from that thing from the hospital.
The magic medic men. They are taking him, and it zooms in on the big X on his chest, the big cross. Yeah, he's coming back.
I liked how that scene had
Avengers.
Marvin Gaye playing.
Oh my goodness, I've been listening to that song like all week.
At
It's
least
everything
at least
you
it
may have
wasn't
missed the past 7 years.
Let's Get It On.
Yeah, there's so many other ways they could have gone.
I've been feeling dry, baby.
I don't think that's what they were gonna go for.
The guy who plays him is cool. Not Marvin Gaye.
Who, Crossbones?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like Manu Bennett.
He does a bit, doesn't he?
He looks like Slade Wilson, which is funny.
It's funny.
So,
Him and the really big guy, the guy that says, was he wearing a parachute? They both look like
The
my
guy who's
girlfriend.
gonna be in Superman 2.
Yeah, they both look like America's. They both look like my girlfriend's dad, and it's very strange.
They both look like America. Well,
Both look like the personification of America.
that's not good because it's supposed to be Steve.
I know.
Let's calm down.
Chris Evans got buff for this. I think
Oh
he was
my
even more
goodness.
buff than the first film.
His
You're talking
chest
about how
was
great
huge.
he looks.
Yes.
Yeah, he was gigantic.
Oh God.
My
Good-
God, man.
like, it's too much. There's that like shot where they just sort of pan up his body.
Yeah.
Like, look how awesome I am, Falcon. You're dying on the ground. Just like, "Ba, ba, 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 ba." It's like, yeah.
Did you
Also
guys?
like
All
when
that
Did you guys
he's
think
in the singlet.
Did you guys think that the score was First of all, I didn't actually notice the score the first time around, and then when I listened out for it, did anyone else notice that it sounded almost exactly like the First Class score?
It's because it's by the same guy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounded like the same theme to me.
I did not notice that, but I thought the score was really, really good.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was awesome.
I like the bit
I was
when
really
Cap's running and the music's going dun 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 dun.
the the music where he jumps out of the elevator is one of my favorite beats. It gets really intense, and which is a common theme in this film. And I don't know, it has this nice little like Captain America sense to it, with a bit of hope in there, but still like, oh my God, what's he gonna do? But then he fights a plane, he's all fine, and he goes away. So good for him.
With a little bit
Speaking
of
of which,
hope.
I loved his suit in this movie.
Yeah, it looked great. Such an improvement on
Yeah,
Avengers. Such an. I mean, a lot of people complain about the one from the Avengers. The only thing I hated was the helmet. I think it looked fucking terrible. See, only it's my biggest pet peeve about that movie. I think he looks so dorky, and they have to rip it off in the movie because it looks so bad. Um,
Wow, I have not ever noticed it ever.
really, it,
Yeah.
it's it it's the one thing that actually in my review that I did like a couple years ago. It was one of the first reviews I did. Um, it, I had to come to a point when I actually gave a bit of criticism for what it could have done better, and I just went on for a good 5 minutes about that fucking helmet. Bugged the shit out of me. I don't know why. I think it's the fact that they'd covered his ears up, and the helmet just looked. I just think Chris Evans looked uncomfortable in it. But this one, he had the more kind of sort of war soldier helmet more. Um, it looked like he had more room to breathe for him to move his face around. Um,
it looks more like a helmet instead of a mask.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, because the one in the Avengers, it looks like it's trying to be both a mask and a helmet at the same time, and I just think it comes off
Because
looking.
it is.
Yeah, I just think it comes off looking awkward. But yeah, this one, and then of course he is it the exact same because he changes suits for the final showdown.
It is not the
Both.
exact same suit from the first
It's
Avenger.
not right.
No,
Okay,
it
so
is.
is it
There's
like
slight changes on it.
right? Okay, is it supposedly
There,
it's an interpretation in the
yeah. What
it's
I always
supposedly in the
assumed
museum
is
it's an
like
interpretation.
the museum was like, well, we can't get the original, so let's go off of what we know,
Yeah, it's meant to
because
be a
it's
replica.
yeah, because I mean, there's little like if you didn't study Captain America outfits like I do, you wouldn't really notice it. But there is little differences. Like there's an extra stripe down the middle, and the gray straps up top don't go all the way. They go down the like shoulder parts. So it still looks really great. I'm glad we got the U.S. agent Steve look in this movie,
Yeah.
which is even more fun when he's not wearing his helmet because that's what he looks like in the comics.
Yeah.
Super cool to see that. I do find it kind of funny that we got like the stealth shield in this with
Yeah.
the blue instead of the red, but it's only in the one scene, uh, and that's it. So still, it was really cool looking, but it's just there, and I wasn't really sure about that.
I liked it because that is something that I would imagine he would use. And I mean, yeah, it's only used the once, but to me, that was kind of a symbol of what Shield were sort of doing to him. Um, the
I just
fact
want to know
that,
what happened to it. Like, does he have two vibranium
I
shields?
was just thinking, yeah, does he repaint it?
oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, because he's got his shield that he has in his house that we see him pick up whenever Fury's in there. But he's also got this blue shield. So I want to know where the hell this thing came from. Because I
Surely,
don't think he's spending every night like, gotta paint my shield, make it
surely he's
all
got two
nice.
shields.
He's
I
probably
mean,
got two, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
where'd he
sure it's
get
not
it?
that hard to make. Since that first one was meant to just be a prototype, I'm sure they could make two.
It is
Where
meant
did
to
they
be the
get
most
it though?
rarest metal on the planet, but
But
so is
it's
Yeah,
Shield.
adamantium and kryptonite and whatever. So in
But
the
I would
I wish
imagine
they
that Shield would be able to find that and make another one for
well,
him.
isn't
true, but I wish they kind of explained it since it's supposed to be vibranium.
yeah.
And in the first film, we do talk about it being this like super rare element.
They talked
So
about it being a super rare element, but it was off the cards as being a shield that he could actually use. they're like, it's a prototype. I don't know. It's like if it's the rarest metal on Earth, then why are you even looking at anything else?
Yeah. That's a. But to be fair, that's a fault of the first. That's a problem with the first movie
True, yeah.
because it's just like we've got all these other shields. We're not going to show you the most indestructible one, so it's just coincidence that you looked at that one, I guess.
Yeah, well, to me, like Shield are able to have this technology that's like the face, like the Mission Impossible 2 face thing, and they've got all this stuff, Arnim Zola, all these things within Shield. I think that they would be able to make another vibranium shield for him.
Yeah.
The fact that like Tony Stark has one, like in amongst all his stuff, like that was never explained. Like he's got
Yeah, but
this.
that wasn't a
That wasn't
vibranium
vibranium.
shield.
That was like bits of a shield. They never really explained.
I
That
know,
was
but that's the thing. He has this shield that no one ever explains, like why he has this shield.
Uh, well,
the fact that it's not vibranium is fine with the main problem I'm having with is that it's vibranium. They've got two vibranium shields or
yeah.
multiple vibranium shields that they're not explaining.
Yeah, I
I
don't.
mean,
I
if it
didn't
was
have a
any other
problem with it.
material, but it's not. It's a nitpick. It really is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the movie's like it's not a plot hole. So I'm fine with it. It's just kind of a question I have of where did this other shield come from, or does he paint it? Because
Well,
I
they
mean, every
sucks.
other scene he cleans it. I assume because after he gets out of the explosion of Arnim Zola's brain, uh, he goes out, and then whenever he's got his first Avenger outfit on, his shield's all clean. So I assume instead of eating breakfast with Falcon, he was just wiping it down, making sure it's all purty.
I love how he
Which
doesn't have his shield with him at all times, yet somehow he does at the same time.
Yeah.
because he's Captain America.
Yeah, he's not carrying it around everywhere because that would be a giant bullseye. Like where does he keep it while he and Black Widow were at the
The
Apple
Apple
Store?
Store. I was just thinking that. Yeah. Speaking of
Up
which,
his butt.
it was a cool moment when they kissed.
Yeah, it was hot.
Public displays of affection make people uncomfortable. Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Mm.
But that's
That
not
was
the feeling it gave him. That's all he said. I was like,
yeah. You got a
okay.
boner.
Is that a shield in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
No, it wasn't. It was my penis.
Wow.
Thanks, dude.
You're welcome.
The flag was at full mast. Okay.
Wow, you're talking to me about saying shit. Look what you're doing. Do we have anything else we want to cover?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about a couple of things. I wanted to talk about why the hell Maria Hill was hanging out at Stark Enterprises or Stark Industries.
Because she's got the hots for Tony.
Oh yeah.
So
Wow.
at the
Oh,
end of the
wow.
film, there's a montage that shows Sharon Carter going to the CIA and
So
training with them.
the shooting range where RoboCop's at.
Yeah.
It shows Maria Hill at Stark Industries and shows Nick Fury burning all his stuff and then going to Europe for his solo adventure, I'm presuming.
Oh my goodness, I can't wait for Nick Fury Hydra Hunter.
um, and yeah, I just wanted to know what I mean, I really liked how this was clearly setting up Captain America 3, even though we've got the Avengers 2 to come.
Well, Maria Hill is going to be a major player in Agents of Shield, so maybe that's something to do with it.
Yeah,
My
both
my
her and Nick
guess,
Fury are returning for the season finale.
yeah, because my
I don't.
guess is that they're going to try and rebuild Shield, and
Damn it.
that Tony Stark was going to be the head of Shield.
Yeah.
That brings him back into the fold in some way, since
Yeah.
he's Iron Man but not Iron Man.
This also leads into, I guess it's both your theory and my theory at this point. The theory of the past of Ultron leading into the future of Ultron. Of
Yes.
Shield becoming director, finding this algorithm that was created by Arnim Zola and possibly a younger Michael Douglas Hank Pym. So Hank Pym both creates Ultron to the point where Tony creates the new Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone's happy. And if he becomes director of Shield, that could totally lead into a civil war because Cap obviously is not too trustworthy of Shield, and it would finally give him a reason not to want to do the whole superhero registration thing.
Yes, and also Maria Hill looking like she's going to Stark Industries. She's like the last agent of Shield left. So as in like one who was super loyal to Nick Fury and knew lots of secrets. So I could see her going to Tony saying, "Look, we need to rebuild this thing. Your father was a founder. We'd ask Peggy Carter, but she's senile. What do you
We'd
think?
ask Peggy, but she's old.
We'd ask Tommy Lee Jones, but he's dead.
Oh, no, he's not dead. I like to imagine he looks exactly the same.
I'm not kissing you.
Yeah, he's still saying that to random people. Like, leave us alone.
We'd ask Tommy Lee Jones, but he looks a lot like
Josh Brolin.
he looks a lot like Norman Osborn in the comics, and bad things happen when we hire him.
Oh, that'd be perfect. That's how they do it. Okay. He was Norman Osborn the whole time.
Not everyone has a happy ending.
The future.
I guess we should talk about the after credit scene.
Oh my goodness.
We both predicted it.
Yeah, I did.
I spoke to Anthony before I saw the film. I was like, "What do you think the after credit scene is going to be?" And he said exactly what it was. Apart from the fact that Loki's scepter was involved.
Yes, I was not expecting that.
Neither was I. But I thought it was going to be Baron von Strucker and the twins.
The twins.
I was happy.
That's
To
not how he said it.
What's great about this after credit scene? We know that due to studio politics and who owns the rights of which characters and blah 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 blah, that they can't reference the fact that they're meant to be mutants. But what I love is that they implied it, and they don't have to come out and say they're mutants, but they're basically saying. I think what they're basically saying is these guys just have powers, and they don't. And for once, they don't have an explanation for it. So it's the age of miracles.
Well, I thought that it was strongly referenced that they were testing Loki's scepter, which had the powers of the cosmic cube in it. That they were testing it on people because they were saying, "Look at all these test subjects. They failed. They're dead. Throw them out." But look at the twins, and now one runs really fast and one's crazy with power.
I thought they were testing it in the fact that they had used it to make them kind of bad people, like agents, like Loki was using in the Avengers when he had Hawkeye and Eric Selvig under
I
his
think
thumb.
it may be a mix of both.
Yeah, it might be a mix
actually.
of both. Yeah,
Because they definitely don't look used to their powers.
Yeah.
Quicksilver looked like he was in pain pretty much running around. And like you said, Scarlet Witch is completely insane. So that'll be really interesting. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of hoping it would be... Not that I was going to hope it was going to be. I was hoping that instead of Strucker, it would be Baron Zemo. Just because I prefer Zemo as a character. I'm fine with Strucker. He works really well since he's always connected to Hydra anyway. But I don't know. Originally, they were going to make it Zemo, but they changed it, which makes me sad. Because he has a purple mask, and that's cool.
could have been cool.
Yeah, that's just a nitpick from me. It works either way, but I don't know. I think it would have been cool to see him. But yeah, I'm super intrigued by this. I'm not gonna lie. After seeing all the Quicksilver stuff, I'm super into Quicksilver right now. I am pumped to see what he is. In the both these films, not so much in Days of Future Past, but mainly in Age of Ultron. He's looking so cool and so perfect, and I'm excited to see what they do with these two characters. I love Scarlet Witch, especially after reading Uncanny Avengers. She's dead, but she's alive in the movie, so that all works out, and I'm glad.
He does look a lot better in action. I remember looking at the on-set pictures, and what bothered me most was just his hair. It just looked weird. They got
His hair looked weird.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, yeah. And I was just thinking, maybe he's just a character that they just can't do in live action. But when you do see him in action, he does look a lot better.
Yeah,
We've
because all that hair goes back.
the most action we've seen of X-Men's Quicksilver is the Carl's Jr. commercial.
Well, I mean, if you want to go back to X-Men Origins Wolverine,
Yeah, true.
uh,
Is
you
that
can go
are
to
they are
that.
they still counting that as part of the chronology?
I
We'll
don't
see.
think they count anything in that film as anything.
Yeah.
No, the fact that they have to say that Bobby was born in New York when he's very clearly from
Oh,
Boston, where they apparently have no hospitals.
and the fact that
No,
they
all they
said
have.
and the fact that they said Storm is from Manhattan, New York, despite having an accent in the first film.
And a scene in Origins Wolverine that got cut where she's very clearly in Africa. But anyway,
You know, maybe they just mean like where they reside. They don't know what the meaning of birthplace is.
they said birthplace. Bryan Singer's smart enough to know what that is.
Maybe Bryan Singer didn't write these little online bios.
You mean he didn't write them personally?
Maybe it was his brother, Ryan Singer.
Oh,
He doesn't know anything about
Jed
X-Men.
Singer.
Jed. It was Jed Whedon.
Jed.
He did it. All by himself. Good
Considering
job.
how much he's crapped on Agents of Shield, I wouldn't be surprised.
Wait,
Aw.
who's Jed?
Jed Whedon is Joss's brother.
Oh, he's crapped on Agents of Shield.
No, he hasn't
He
crapped.
literally, he,
He hasn't. Yeah,
he
yeah,
got
yeah. He shat all over it. No, he hasn't.
He's talked about how bad it is, at least.
Yeah, yeah. He writes it. Joss laid the groundwork, and he writes it, and that's pretty much the problem.
Oh,
The problem is
but
Joss isn't
he's
writing
shit.
it.
Okay, I see.
it's one of those things where when they work together, it's fine. It's like a Goyer thing.
Yeah, it's a
like
Goyer
if
and
Goyer's got
Nolan,
a
yeah.
like a
If Goya's
Yeah.
working with Nolan, then Nolan is there to sift through his bad ideas. But if Goya's working by himself,
Bless
bless you,
Thank you.
then we get Man of Steel.
yeah, so it's basically the same thing with Jed. It's like you got some things here and there, but
Blimey,
there's
Jed.
no filter. So all his poop is just Fitz and Simmons.
Can I ask why Joss Whedon's parents decided to name their kids Joss and Jed?
Because they're terrible people.
Anyway,
They also look like it's just Joss's dad is just him with like a hat on and a pipe, and then his mom is just Joss with a wig.
good.
Very lovely woman.
Sounds like a happy family.
Oh yeah, they
Sounds
love
hot.
writing comics.
Do
There you
you have
go.
anything else to say on Captain America?
I know I had a point, but I cannot for the life of me remember what it was.
Senator Stern.
Senator Stern was amazing.
Oh my goodness, he created the greatest meme of all time.
There was a moment here where they were talking about, when I say they, I mean Zola, was talking about all the things that Shield have that Hydra have done, and one of them was the murder of the Starks,
No.
which was really interesting. I really liked that.
A
And,
car crash. Car crash for Lydia James Potter.
I made that joke.
It's an outrage.
It's a
A scandal. We had to tell him something.
But there's one other moment. There's one other thing I want to talk about, and that's we've been talking about Agents of Shield so much. Like that, when I finished watching this movie, I was like, "Wow, that show is totally fucked." But I don't know. I don't believe that Marvel have done this to Shield without knowing what they were going to do with Agents of Shield. So
Yeah. I don't know exactly what their plan is, but I wouldn't be surprised if season 2 was the Peggy Carter show they were wanting, so we could look at like the origins of Shield.
that
so it
would
could
be
still
amazing.
That would be cool.
be Agents of Shield. I would love it.
That one
can't
shot
wait.
was awesome. That's the best one shot they've done.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they could do more of that, just be a series, I would be perfectly fine with it because we've already got characters you like. You could bring in, Dun Dun Dugan, and you can bring in, Dominic Cooper as Howard. You have Haley Atwell in there. Just be good. because she
Just be a
says that
good
one of the
show.
she says that one of the men that Cap saved ended up being her husband. I'm assuming it's Dum Dum Dugan. I want to see like the pictures of her kids, and they all have like mustaches and bowler hats.
Sharon Carter did not have a mustache in this movie. That is a lie.
That's because it's her niece.
Oh, I thought it was her daughter.
No.
Oh, I don't know comics.
Yeah. Close though.
Okay. Well, there was. It's funny that they said we're going to do a Peggy Carter show, because if they had said we're going to do the Origins of Shield, then that probably might have been a giveaway that it's going to be replacing Agents of Shield. So I really hope that that's the case. That it's the Origins of Shield. Um, the actor who plays Dum Dum Dugan, Neil McDonough, his show got cancelled recently, so he's available. I'm
Yay!
been,
Aw.
I
Thank
liked the
God.
show that he was in. I was very angry when it happened, actually.
I'll be back
Funny
in
enough, it
just a
also
sec.
okay. Funny enough, it also took place in the 40s. So,
Well, there you go. You just can't escape it.
and who else? Yeah, the actor who plays Howard Stark, Dominic Cooper. He's probably available.
He's super. He would be totally for it. He said multiple times that.
What has he said multiple times? Oh, Sam is still. Oh, Sam's back as well.
All right. Well, there you go.
Well,
Well, welcome back, everyone, to the end.
Sam doesn't know that this happened, so let's not tell him. And there'll be a big gap of nothingness.
Wow, everyone's favorite. Yeah, I like this movie a lot. It's so good.
Excellent, excellent film.
Yes, it is my favorite movie from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Well, just my favorite Marvel movie in general, honestly. No reason it wouldn't be.
I mean, I like X-Men 2 more, but I agree.
Well, yeah, come on. My last favorite is the first Avenger, and this is better than the first Avenger. So by default, this is my favorite Marvel movie. God, it's good to be a Cap fan. You know, every other character I like kind of sucks right now, but I got Cap and I got Slade, so I got my super enhanced men in my life. So,
Nice.
all right, you won't believe what they enhanced on this clone.
Oh
Uh,
God.
all day with the Robot Chicken references. Yeah, it's a good movie.
Sam, have you seen the Robot Chicken DC Comics Special Part 2?
Funnily enough, I watched it
Villains in
yesterday.
Paradise.
How good is it?
I love it.
Anthony and I watched it in its entirety earlier.
It's so good.
But yeah, so my favorite characters right now, Cyclops is still in a state of flux. Nightwing's dead, not dead.
He's coming back.
Scarecrow, I don't know what he's
He
up
just got
to.
his ass kicked by Bane.
Bane nearly killed him again.
And then
And-
Bane put on his Bane coat from Rises and was like, I'm Bane.
But in terms of like these characters being adapted on anything, Cyclops, big no. Nightwing, maybe in 20 years he'll be in a film. Scarecrow, he was just in 3 Batman films, so we're not going to see him for a while. Maybe some like pudgy, short redhead kid will play him in Gotham.
Oh, some punchy short. He has to have a butter's face.
Yeah.
Sam, who are your favorite characters?
What are they up to?
What are they up to?
Is this of all time or comics or?
Just in general, like my favorite characters like Green Lantern and Harley Quinn and Jim Gordon, they're not doing so well right now. But Cap and Slade are, so that's good.
Mine are they're pretty sort of generic ones. But
They're pretty.
yeah, Spider-Man, Peter Parker.
We know how he's
sorry.
doing.
Yeah.
That Spider-Man 2 poster on your wall is going to look a whole lot brighter when you come back after seeing that film.
Yep.
It's gonna be on fire.
My house is burnt
You
down.
gots to wear shades.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting because I don't think there's any way that the new one's going to be better than Spider-Man 2.
Heavens no.
Spider-Man 2 is one of the best superhero movies of all time.
Did you just say Evans? No.
I said heavens no, but sure, Chris Evans no.
No,
I guess.
Evans! No!
No, Evans.
No, I don't want to say no to Evans.
Oh,
He can do whatever he wants.
just in case people comment about how mean I'm being to a movie that hasn't come out yet, it's mostly comedic. I'm making fun of it for comedic purposes, but I also don't expect it to be good. But
I mean, we're all still gonna see it.
I'm going to an advanced screening that I've paid a lot of money for to see it, so obviously I'm excited to a degree.
Yeah, he paid like $50. I was there.
Between two people, but yes.
Yes, he wanted a Cinnabuzz or something.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
a Cinnabon.
yeah, I mean, for an avid Spider-Man fan like myself, it's very difficult going into this kind of film where it looks crap. You didn't like the first one, but you're a huge fan of the character and you want it to be good. So it's confusing emotions. Messing with my emotions, man.
I was Spider-Man today.
Teen.
Eh?
Hmm.
Okay.
So, is Spider-Man the only character you like?
No, it's not.
Too bad.
There's also Han Solo from the Star Wars original trilogy.
He's doing good.
From Star Wars. Okay. Thought you meant the other one.
Yeah.
Juan Solo from the Mexican Wars.
Juan Solo.
I'd like to see that. I want to see what's his name? Harrison Ford play a Mexican.
Oh my goodness, he's old and grumpy. I don't want to see him in anything.
He doesn't. Did you see him in Ender's Game?
No, I didn't see Ender's Game.
He looked so just fed up of fucking life that it looked like his face was gonna fall to the floor.
That's just him in general.
He was like that at the Oscars of all places as well.
He looks it everywhere, but in that particular film, I was like, "Wow, it's like funny now."
Yeah, he's old and grumpy. He doesn't like Star Wars.
Yeah, that's like when they brought him to Comic-Con a few years ago to promote Cowboys and Aliens, and he they brought him out with like a gag around his mouth and like handcuffed and stuff, and it was meant to be a joke. I bet that was just for real. He actually didn't want to be there. I hate comics. Get me out of here.
This is part of the reason that I know a lot of people want to see him in the new Star Wars films. I'm gonna go back to my earlier point that fans don't know what they want. Do you really want Harrison Ford sitting there with his old smuggler gear, with his just I don't want to fucking do movies or live anymore face?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to see old hair. I already saw him as old Indiana Jones. I don't want to see him as older Han Solo.
And I mean, part of the appeal of Han Solo and Indiana Jones is that they're young men that you aspire to be. They're really awesome, and you don't want to be them in their 60s or 70s. With respect,
I'm surprised Peter Mayhew is coming back.
Yeah, that is surprising.
He can't walk.
Yeah.
Also, Chewbacca's supposed to be dead.
Yes.
What? Did he die in that film?
He didn't die in the movies. But at this point of time, he's in the books. He's dead.
Okay.
He died in like a car crash or something.
I don't know what Star Wars is, so it's okay.
It's all right. Yeah, I don't want to see old people. Like the only one that I want to see old is Mark Hamill. Because he's a Jedi.
He's gonna be Obi-Wan.
Supposed to. Yeah, he could be the old mentor. I don't want to see old Leia. Who's she gonna be? Old Leia. That's it.
Old Leia in a golden bikini.
They can replicate a scene from Captain America 2 where she's like lying there. She's like, "Oh, I'm so old." With an Ian McKellen voice. For some reason.
She's Ian McKellen. Yeah.
Oh, I'm
so old.
I'm so old, Charles.
So many years wasted fucking each other, Charles.
I'm a homosexual advocate.
Oh, that got me in that episode. The way, if people haven't seen it, go and watch Shades' What Did We Do episode
Um, um,
18.
It's his,
18? Yeah.
it might be yeah, episode 18. It's his X-Men special episode, and it's fucking hilarious.
You will never be able to watch the newest trailer for Days of Future Past ever again
Cracked.
because it's just like when I was in the theater watching it, I couldn't stop laughing.
Oh, it's just
Hey
It
guys,
was
what's going
just
on?
Oh,
You're
it,
welcome. Old.
what was I going to say? I was going to say something about another thing.
Did you have another
uh,
character you wanted to talk about?
No, oh, it was on Star Wars quickly. People have accused me of being ageist, which is fucking ridiculous. Um, because I don't want it's because I don't want it to seem like a bad high school reunion. That's what and Indiana Jones felt like. Um, it's what something like Ghostbusters 3 would feel like. Um,
oh my
Sometimes you just got to stop and
what
think: is it actually going to expand the universe and, you know, let the movies be their creatively original, wonderful selves, or is it just going to be like, hey, remember those films? Yeah, those were great. Apparently,
yeah, like what's a Goonies 2 gonna accomplish?
ugh, with the same actors all grown up. Uh,
Yeah, Chunk is like he's good looking now. He can't be Chunk.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Can't do the wiggle thingamabob.
The
Um,
truffle shuffle.
that was
The
it.
wiggle thingamabob.
The wiggle.
Do the wiggle thingamabob.
But apparently the script that Michael Arndt had written for episode 7 focused heavily on the children of the Solos and Luke Skywalker. That should have been the way to go because apparently episode 7 is now going to be the original cast and then they pass the torch on for the next episode for the kids to take over. Why do we need it? Screams of just um, giving fans what they want for the sake of it'll bring in more people to see it. Have some balls, do
Yeah.
something different. I'm so tired of telling studios to do this. Just grow some fucking balls.
Well, they say they want to give him a send off, but isn't
They
that what
already had a
Return of the
send off.
Jedi was?
Exactly. They already
That
had a
whole scene
perfectly
of
defined
like
send off.
yeah, like we won, everything's good.
Yeah.
All right, our story is done. Move on.
Yeah,
Hunt
I do find
Hera
it funny when
together.
people say that Star Wars, excuse me, I'm going to piss off a lot of fans that I made that mistake. My bad. Oh, well, Captain
Whoa, hey
America
now.
makes that mistake. He put Star Wars / Trek as part of
He
his things
didn't
to
make a
do.
mistake.
On
He just
the
didn't write star twice.
on the on one of the lists, I think it might be the American one. He actually crosses Star Wars off the list.
Yeah, he saw it.
Yeah,
He loved it.
on the British version, he hadn't crossed it off the list, and I was upset. I also didn't
He
get
hadn't crossed
In
off
AC/DC on
the
England,
mine.
he had.
I wanted AC/DC on mine.
Well,
Yeah,
Tony didn't
AC/DC's on
tell him.
mine.
I wanted
Yeah.
everything that I like on there.
They had the Australian one, for those who don't know, is
Oh my goodness.
AC/DC, Space Travel, Skippy the Bush Kangaroo, and Steve Irwin, and Tim Tams.
Those are the special ones.
Yeah.
All
For
that matters is that every country got Rocky. Rocky 2?
Yeah. The one for England, I'm just trying to find it.
It was like the Beatles, Sherlock, um, Skippy the Bush
no,
Kangaroo.
my friend and I, the great Tristan Black,
The
who's
Beatles
been around
again.
times, he joked with me beforehand because he knew that there's going to be a list at the beginning and it changes for each country. He said ours will probably have like Skippy the Bush Kangaroo or something as a joke, and then it was there, and we high fived out of joy.
I'm just trying to find the fucking picture. Drive me out the wall.
Oh, all right. Take your time. But yeah, Star Wars Episode 7 is gonna be great.
Oh, it's not. Shut up.
Yeah, we had
No,
Sherlock.
it's not.
We had Sherlock, the moon landing, which should really be for everyone. um,
Yes.
the World
The
Cup
moon.
final, 1966. Sean Connery, Thar food. Oh, Thai food, right? He's
Oh,
Thar food. He's written it. He does his I with a flick, and it makes it look like an R. He's got Nirvana, um, Rocky 2,
man.
and Trouble Man, but that's because he wrote it down afterwards.
that doesn't count. Yeah, I find it weird they did it different in each country. I don't know. I get it. It's like, oh, look, it's all the things you love. But this is Captain America. All right? He lives in America. Does that mean like in each version you have to assume that all these British people and all these Australian guys came up to him and told him everything to write down? No. He lives in America.
Well, in Toy Story 2, there's an alternate sequence. When Buzz is giving that big speech and the American flag
Yes.
appears behind him. In everywhere else, and here we have it's instead the Earth behind him, and Randy
With the
Newman did
song
a
created by Paul Newman. Yeah. With
Paul
Randy
Newman.
Newman, like the world theme. I said Paul Newman.
Yeah.
Randy Newman. He was born from an egg. Uh, yeah, he created a theme for the planet.
Yeah. So that's
That's
interesting.
good for him.
But it is a bit like we would have got it if you showed the American flag.
Randy Newman. He was born from an
Something, something.
It's
a bug.
It's a bug.
Bug
Bug
life.
life.
We get one an apple. On your
Short people got no reason.
Short people got no reason.
To live is the rest of the song. But
Oh, I'm
that
so
song used to
sorry,
offend
baby.
me as a not tall person.
Good.
Do we have anything to say more about Captain America?
No, we should probably end this.
It's a wonderful film. I loved it. I need to go to bed.
Thank you everyone for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to put your thoughts in the comments, and look out for. I think the three of us will be getting back together for a Spider-Man podcast.
Look out.
Look out!
Here comes the Spider-Man.
It's a good cue to end
Yep.
on.
And before that video comes out, you'll see my immediate thoughts after seeing an advanced screening. So if you really want to know if I had to eat my words or if I was correct,
Or eat
then
just
tune
popcorn.
Awesome.
in. Yeah, or eat my popcorn. Thank you, Anthony.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Again, thanks to everyone for listening, and thank you guys for coming on again. It's always a pleasure.
Pleasure as always, dude. It's always
Yeah.
fun when we get to do this.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, whatever.
Anthony's a dick.
Thanks to everyone for listening, and we'll see you later.